Hello, and thanks for tuning into the show that goes around the continent to bring you stories near and far. I'm Joke Rogers at Channels Television here in Lagos, and I'm joined by Vincent McCory from the Voice of America in Washington, D.C.
Thanks, I'm Vincent McCory at the Voice of America. Happy to be with you again for another edition of Africa 54. Let's start off with the latest from Nigeria. Joke Rogers in Lagos brings you that story.
More than 50 schools in Nigeria have participated in the 2023-2024 Lego League Challenge in robotics, coding, and artificial intelligence. The competition is aimed at fostering the next wave of innovators and programmers.
It's that exciting time of the year when young minds ignite their passion for innovation, engineering, and architecture through the first Lego League National Challenge in robotics, coding, and artificial intelligence. At the Moshood Abiola National Stadium in Abuja, the nation's capital, students from over 50 schools are present to participate in the tournament. And they are poised to showcase their innovative ideas and technical abilities. Representing the Minister of Education, the Director of Technology and Science Education Department, Dr. Muibat Olodo, says events like the first Lego League competition serve as a testament to their commitment to fostering innovation.
As we witness these ingenious solutions presented by the different teams today, it is a reminder that our education system is evolving, keeping pace with the dynamic needs of the 21st century. The integration of robotics education into our curriculum not only enriches our students' academic experience, but also equips them with the skills necessary to thrive in a world that is becoming increasingly digital.
By being a part of the first Lego League, participants gain real-world problem-solving experiences through a guided global robotics program.
The true essence of this competition is collaboration, critical thinking, creativity, fun, teamwork, inclusion, discovery, innovation, and the unwavering pursuit of solutions. This is not just a competition, but it is a celebration of the limitless potentials that resides within each and every one of you.
The theme for the 2023-2024 robotics season is Masterpiece, and it gives students a chance to imagine and innovate new ways to create and communicate art across the globe.
7, 6, 5.
They engage in the construction and programming of robots using Lego, tackling specific challenges and tasks on a designated playing field. The Lego Robotics competition is not just about building robots. It's a holistic experience that provides a platform for creativity and hands-on exploration in the realms of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Winners from the tournament will have an opportunity to represent Nigeria in the US, Australia, Norway, and Brazil. The top 3 teams will also benefit from a scholarship scheme for their tertiary education.
Joining us to discuss this is the Director, Technology and Science Education Department at the Federal Ministry of Education, Muibat Olodo. Thanks for your time today.
Thank you for having me.
Right, I'm sure you must be excited about this. How has the first Lego League positively impacted STEM education in the country?
Thank you very much for bringing me on board. The first Lego League, it was not only the first Lego League, we also have the first Tech Challenge. The FTC, the FLL have been able to do wonderful things in the lives of our students. First of all, the students can now code basic applications such as developing animation, games, and learning the master programming languages such as Java, Python. And this knowledge that they have acquired can be used to develop so many things in academics, and other fields. We help them to prepare for so many things in the future. In the world of work. They can fit into the world of work when it comes to artificial intelligence without fear.
And what support and resources are provided to schools and students to ensure their successful participation in the competition, especially in regions like, Abuja?
Well, the competition that was held in Abuja is the national competition. Before national, the competitions were held at the northern zone and the southern region of the country. So the national one brought all those winners from the regional competitions to Abuja. And the Federal Ministry of Education, in collaboration with Coderina Education and Technology Foundation, were able to provide for the students conducive environment, secured environment for them to be able to participate in competitions very well. Also, the ministry, through the competing colleges, were able to provide logistics, the challenge kits, and the robots that the students needed for them to participate effectively in the competitions. So they were in an enabling environment with provision of the resources that they needed to be able to do well in the competitions.
Well, I do know that, some schools across the country have incorporated, coding and what have you into their educational system. And, you're in the broader ministry that oversees all of these things, especially the units that you're in charge of. So can you share any of the success stories that illustrate the transformative effects, of the Lego League and other initiatives from your ministry that will impact on the intelligence of the pupils, for the future? Because, Nigeria is not in isolation. There's the world that we can play with. And, how does this impact on the students themselves and for the future of the country?
Thank you very much. There have been many success stories. And the impact of this program can be shown in such stories like the creation of humanoid robots by the students of Federal Government Girls College, Shagamu, as well as the Ruby Bot robot that was created by students of Federal Government College, Rubochi, in Federal Capital Territory. These creations have been able to bring the children out, bring out their critical thinking, their logical reasoning, for them to be able to solve the real life problems. These projects that I have mentioned and some others that are already in incubation period will has fostered teamwork, has encouraged students to compete favorably well. They are now energized to go into a development of artificial intelligence and related projects in the country. And you can imagine by the time we have these projects coming into the limelight, commercialization will also set in, and these children and the youth can be gainfully employed, taken away from the streets.
Right. Director, Technology and Science Education Department, Federal Ministry of Education, Mrs. Muyibat Olodo. Thank you for your time today on the program.
Thank you very much for having me. Thank you.
We want to know what you think about Africa 54 and the stories we cover. Join the conversation on Facebook. The address is Africa 54, and check out our headlines 24/7 on voaafrica.com. After the break, with 71% of Kenya's most endangered birds facing extinction, wildlife advocates fight for the construction of a bird-friendly infrastructure. Welcome back to Africa 54. I'm Vincent McCory in Washington. Conservationists in Kenya warn that nearly all the country's 103 species of raptors have declined. These wildlife advocates are now proposing the construction of bird-friendly infrastructure to avert possible extinction. Francis Ontomo has this report from Nakuru, Kenya.
Him up on the farm and said that he had a broken wing and they didn't leave.
Doug the tawny eagle has learned to stand on an artificial leg. 2 years ago, Doug received an electric shock while perching on a power line, injuring not only his leg, but also his left wing. The Soisambo Raptor Center, situated in Kenya's Rift Valley, helps injured birds like Doug.
Persecution, electrocution and poisoning, those are mostly the cases we get to experience here.
This crown eagle's encounter with power lines left her with damage to her eyes, wing and brain. The species is listed as near threatened by the International Union for Conservation of Nature, a global authority in the field. Kenya is home to 103 species of birds of prey or raptors. In recent years, the country's human population has grown, encroaching on the bird's habitat and installing miles of deadly electric lines.
The 10 to 32 kV poles being put up nationally. The rate that they're putting up is incredibly impressive, but that also means that the rate of deaths would be proportional to the amount of lethal poles that are being put in.
In Kenya, sightings of the once common raptors such as the ogre buzzards, hooded vultures and the long-crested eagles are down by more than 80% in 40 years. Researchers say raptors can help reduce farmers' losses by feeding on the rodents that eat their crops. But researchers say the birds' feeding habits can also put them at risk of injury or death if they ingest prey species such as mice or rats that have been poisoned. Peter Njoroge heads the ornithology department at the National Museums of Kenya.
There is bird-friendly infrastructure for transmission that will protect the birds, that will help conserve birds of prey. And to go further on that, it's better when they are planning these things that they use bird-friendly infrastructure than to retrofit later on.
But the authors of the 2022 study also say further raptor declines could be prevented if the government puts species recovery plans in place. Francis Ontomo, VOA News, Nakuru, Kenya.
Chinese citizens around the world have been marking the start of another year and the start of spring. In Lagos, the Consulate invited members of the diplomatic community, the Lagos state government and members of the Chinese community in the state to celebrate the events. Our Foreign Affairs correspondent, Amarachi Ubani, reports.
Under the cool, breezy sky of a major hotel in the Lagos metropolis, the Chinese Consulate in Lagos holds a big party, one that happens once a year. Only this once-a-year party is the New Year and the Spring Festival. The Consul General, Ms. Yang Yuqing, in her address delivered in Mandarin, sprinkled with some English, welcomed invited guests and wished everyone success in the Year of the Dragon.
I hope all of you have fitness, success, happiness in the Chinese New Year of Dragon. Long-lasting China-Nigeria friendship. Thank you all. 谢谢大家.
It was followed by goodwill speeches from a select number of VIPs.
In the vibrant tapestry of Chinese traditions, we find a source of inspiration and admiration. A Chinese gala is not just a celebration, it is a bridge that connects us across cultures and continents.
We appreciate that you bring your science and technology, you bring your commerce, and we can see that your innovations are helping Lagos move forward to achieve the vision of the Greater Lagos Rising through the Blue Line project. Thank you, China. Thank you, Chinese diaspora.
The Chinese New Year is a time for joy, it's a time for reunion, it's a time for celebration.
The event was laced with cultural dances showing the fusion of Chinese and Nigerian values. Even the Consul General could not resist being the center of attraction herself. There's also a return of Chinese goodwill in Lagos.
I thank the Chinese community very well.
The Consul General later speaks on the shared relations.
We often say that Spring Festival is Chinese festival, but it also belongs the whole world. Especially last year, UN announced that the Chinese Spring Festival will be the international festival. So I'm so glad that the peoples from all over the world, include Nigeria, can together celebrate New Year with Chinese people.
How Nigerian can one Chinese get?
I'm in Nigeria almost 21 years. Yes, thank you. Yeah. Yes, I'm Nigeria also too. Thank you. So far we are here. We appreciate. We thank you. Nigeria friends support us. So we so far here. So we are like one family.
And what a celebration without some fireworks. "2024 is the year of the dragon, according to the Chinese zodiac. The dragon symbolizing strength, energy, and vitality." Amarachi Ubani, Channels Television News.
Images of African senior citizens walking the runway created a buzz on social media, eventually going viral. These AI-generated pictures challenged the typical depictions of elderly Africans, showcasing them in an empowering way. Karina Chaudhary has this story.
Malik Afegbua's series of images showing African senior citizens walking the runway in fashionable clothing went viral on social media late last year. The Lagos, Nigeria-based filmmaker and visual artist calls this work Fashion Show for the Elders, and it was created with the help of artificial intelligence. Afegbua says he aspires to portray African senior citizens in a way that is rarely seen.
The Elder series is about showing the elder society in a place that is not marginalized, in a place that is spoken for in pop culture, fashion, and other industries that we don't normally see them.
The Elders series was in part inspired by his mother's medical troubles. The art the ordeal unlocked also opened new doors for Afegbua. Now he's collaborating with designers at Marvel Studios. Ruth E. Carter, the Oscar-winning costume designer for the movie Black Panther, was one of the many people who reached out to Afegbua.
We have worked on something already where we created the art direction of some sort and the costume for the main actor, which is for Blade.
The rise of artificial intelligence has raised ethical questions, with some arguing that it undermines human-created art. However, Afegbua sees value in using AI as a tool.
You cannot create what I created with AI because you don't even know how I did it. And that's because I created it with my own data sets as a tool, and that wasn't the only tool I used.
In the heart of Amsterdam, a celebration is brewing.
During Africa Fashion Week Amsterdam 2023, Afegbua brought his digital fashion show to life.
The crowd will go wild, man!
Linda Fashkin, owner of the clothing company Cocaine, or CKG, was one of the designers Afegbua invited to collaborate with on the fashion show. She said his designs are empowering.
When we think runway fashion, we imagine 20-somethings and teenagers, but we have to remember something. That the elderly, they still want to feel sexy, they want to be vibrant.
Afegbua plans to bring his fashion show for the elders to a runway in Nigeria in early 2024. This time not with professional models, but with everyday mothers, fathers, aunts, uncles, and grandparents, creating fashion to celebrate them. Karina Chaudhary, VOA News.
Spencer Aberi, an artist from Kenya, is using pieces of broken mirrors and glass to create unique pieces of art, one being a reflective suit that has left locals in awe. Take a look.
Spencer Aberi collects broken mirrors from dump sites like this one around his neighborhood in Nairobi, Kenya. Then, the real work begins for the artist.
I make art out of mirrors. Due to lack of finances to buy the mirrors, I had to go to the various dump sites to collect mirrors. And then after collecting those mirrors, I wash them. Then I clean them, I dry them, and then I stick them to the suit.
One of his most fascinating works is this dazzling suit. Some other of his creations include bags, shoes, and even gloves made from glass. Berry started using broken mirrors and glass in his work because of lack of money to buy materials. But now, he hopes to create awareness about the importance of conserving the environment by making art from garbage.
Small pieces of mirrors or glasses are harmful to the environment as well as to people in general. I thought it better to collect those pieces of mirrors to create something beautiful and also to keep the environment clean.
He believes that initiatives that find unusual ways to work with discarded materials can be essential in dealing with all kinds of waste, especially in relation to one of Kenya's biggest problems, plastic waste. According to a study shared by the United Nations Environment Programme in 2020, 92% of the waste in Kenya is mismanaged, and there were no collection services registered in rural areas of the country.
A 14-year-old Ethiopian-born American in the U.S. state of Virginia has now won the 3M Young Scientists Challenge, an annual science competition for U.S. students in grades 5 through 8. VOA's Eden Jeremo recently spoke with the winner in Fairfax County, Virginia.
Heman Bekele says that he has always been passionate about problem solving. That curiosity has earned the Ethiopian-born American teen the grand prize and $25,000 in cash in this year's 3M Young Scientist Challenge, a competition for U.S. students enrolled in 5th through 8th grade. Heman entered a bar soap that could fight a type of cancer known as melanoma.
Yeah, I've always been really passionate about just finding solutions that aren't just really great from a science perspective, but are also accessible to as many people as possible. And for a disease like skin cancer, where cures already exist in the field, the only issue is that those cures aren't accessible to everyone.
Heman's soap is still being tested for its effectiveness, but it works by activating special cells called dendritic cells that help the body fight skin cancer.
Well, I tried to come up with a solution that was not only great from a science perspective that could work, but then at the same time was also affordable and accessible.
His father, Wendwesen Bekele, says they couldn't contain their excitement.
When he become like a top 10, I was really, we were so satisfied. And then when he become like the first, the tops, we were so overwhelmed with his accomplishments. So we're still so happy for him.
His mother, Mulumebit Getachew, says he has always been curious as a child.
Heman likes to create. Since he was a child, he used to like to research things. He used to prefer playing with things he created instead of toys. He was social. He liked to play. He liked to talk and play with other people. He likes to read, but he also listens. He is a good listener.
Heman says his skin cancer treating soap must still get an approval from the U.S. Food and Drug Administration. When that happens, he hopes it can be made accessible to people in underserved and low-income communities.
Of course, there's a lot of work still left to get to that goal, but I hope that, like I was saying, by 2028 it'll turn into a nonprofit and we'll have to see from there where it ends up.
The World Health Organization's Cancer Agency estimates that nearly 325,000 new cases of melanoma were diagnosed worldwide in 2020. Heman says all he wants to do is make people's lives a bit easier. For Eden Geremo in Fairfax County, Virginia, Salim Solomon, VOA News.
Well, and that's our show for today. You can find all the continent's top news and world news online at voaafrica.com. Check it out. I'm Vincent McCory in Washington. Channels Television has our last word.
We look forward to bringing you another show next week. To remember that channelstv.com is your source for news and other programming. I'm Joke Rogers. Thanks for watching and goodbye.